Buying a new eMTB, incredibly difficult. So many brands, different battery capacities, sizing and component specification. Now, you might be thinking of buying your first or maybe a new eMTB. And having ridden so many of these bikes, hopefully I can help you with decision making. So let's assume that you want a great all-round eMTB, one that can climb, descend, ride sheep tracks, and also with sufficient range in the battery so you're not worried about getting home. What do we got? Now, when it comes to money, what I'm about to suggest can apply to anybody, regardless of budget. Now, I really think that 6,000 is plenty. I simply don't think you need to spend any more. And the reason for that is that the components you get for more money don't actually give you that much more in performance terms. It's about diminishing returns. It's as simple as that. What you get for more money is very often the fine detail. The basic operation remains incredibly close. You could actually flip that the other way too. You actually need to spend 6,000? Absolutely not. We've taken some 3,000 bikes into some really difficult situations and comfortably too. So what I'm talking about today will apply pretty much to all brands. Some will actually give you better or worse components for around about the same price. My advice, don't worry about the frame material, go for a good motor, good range battery, a good wheel and brake package, boom. Some people might want to spend a little bit more money simply because of the components, and that's absolutely fine. But here on the cliffs above Finale, let me give you an example of component specification and the Canyon Strive-On. Now, this Canyon Strive-On has the same frame and motor and battery as the lesser priced Underdog model, just a slightly different fork, shock, wheel set, and brakes and gears. The same brands involved. I mean, €5,499 for the Underdog is an awesome buy. And I'd not ride the higher priced bike up or downhill any slower. Now, this Strive-On with my Underdog model as a comparison is but one example. You could find other brands where you'd get a similar specification, which is €1,000 to €2,000 more. The point here being is that prices and specification fluctuates massively between brands. So do your homework and see what's good for you. Now, how you buy your eMTB or how much is probably not for this conversation. We'll discuss that another time, but you can choose to buy your eMTB from direct sales brand. You can choose to buy from a shop. And in terms of money, I mean, I tend to kind of max out. I think when I left school, I probably spent like 50% of my salary on my first motorcycle, but that's probably a bit over the top. When it comes to how you purchase it, I mean, lots of brands do like, £150, £200 a month over 3 years, and then get a fresh one. I mean, it all depends on your budget. Right then, the big one, what type of eMTB? Now, I think on balance, I think a full power eMTB is a good option simply because you can actually run them on a low power mode should you need to. And the reason for that is partly, I think that the low to mid assist eMTBs are quite specialist. For example, if I was to recommend someone an MTB, I probably wouldn't recommend a cross country, rather I'd recommend a enduro style bike, because say a cross-country bike is maybe 4 to 5 kilos lighter, I think the enduro bike tends to give you a better all-round experience. So for me, mid-power with travel around about 150, 160. Okay, compatibility and attraction. Look, I'm going to put it out there. There's probably some brands I would never go anywhere near. I think it's a fair point. We do tend to buy our bikes on how they look. So I think charm and charisma should be part of that purchasing process. Would you choose charisma over performance? I actually think you need both. I mean, look, this is mountain bikes we're talking here, so it can't be that difficult. Okay, nitty gritty, the motor and the battery. In terms of the battery, 500 watt hours, 700, 750, 900. Look, it depends on your weight and where you ride. If you're lighter, you could probably do with a 500. If you're heavier or you ride more technical terrain, maybe something towards a 750 or 900. In terms of the motor, look, most of the motors have some minor flaws or other, but you know what? They're genuinely all good, whether it be Bosch, Bros, Shimano, Yamaha, TQ, Giant, Specialized, they are genuinely all good. I think we could debate motors all day long. What I suggest is we quit doing that and just get out there and ride. I just want to emphasize very clearly again, yes, the motors have strengths and weaknesses, but as we've proven on the channel over the past 6 years, we've taken all the motor brands into some pretty crazy places. Frame material, carbon, aluminium, or a bit of a mix and match. Very simply, it's about the feel of the bike rather than the materials. Not too stiff for definite and not too flexy. How do you know this? Well, that's the million-dollar question, right? A great eMTB is one that grips, gives finely balanced rigidity, good handling, excellent surface contact. Sounds easy, right? Well, some brands know how to do carbon, others, well, can be pitiful, so you cannot generalize, that's for sure. My advice, go and ride a demo and be honest with yourself about what material bike really works best. Oh, and one last thing, the bike needs to be quiet. Sizing, oh, that's such a difficult one, but is possibly one of the most important factors that you get right with the eMTB. Now, how do you know what bike fits you? That is the million-dollar question. The problem with that is that all brands have got their own idea on fit. For example, same with clothing. I mean, I can be an L or I can be an XL. Hell, do you know what? On occasions, I can sometimes be a medium too. Now, fit is so important, I'm actually going to do a separate video on that for you guys. Let me just give you a quick example here of an eMTB. Now, what's really important is everything in the past of the bikes you've ridden before totally goes out of the window with eMTB. For example, the seat. Now, you'll get on an eMTB and you might actually think, crikey, that feels a little bit small. And the reason for that with lots of eMTBs is the seat tube angle. The seat tube angle is steeper, it's further forward than it is on maybe some old-fashioned mountain bikes. And as the seat goes up, the weight goes back. So what you need when you're climbing an eMTB is a good central position. The thing with fit is I've worked out that the reach number for me, I can ride between a 470 and a 500 mil reach on a bike. The problem with that is you can get size mediums, larges, and extra larges in that size range. So for me, it's getting that number right, but it's an incredibly complex business. And as I said, I'm going to do a separate video just on that subject. Okay, just a few more points left. Just want to re-emphasize, if you've got any questions surrounding this subject, which I'm talking about, which is what I think is the perfect eMTB, please let me know in the questions and hopefully I can address them. Two things, componentry, look, SRAM GX, Shimano XT, SLX, it's all good. And as I said earlier, it depends on the brand you're buying from. Weight, think about it this way. If a bike is 20 to 25 kilos, it's going to be a quarter of my body weight at 90 to 95 kilos. So that's going to vary massively between the rider. So I think for a for a full power eMTB, I think 20 to 26 kilos is just right. And one final point is the geometry. Now, these numbers which I've got on screen now, I think reflect the kind of numbers you'd expect for an eMTB that's going to give you good climbing skills, good descending skills, good skills on sheep tracks. So what I'm showing you is the chainstay length, the wheelbase, the seat tube angle, the head tube angle, and also the reach. So the thing with reach is I'm 6 foot, I think it's 1.82 meters. So I think I'd add or subtract about 30 mil onto that depending on your size. So as I said, those numbers I think are reflective of a fantastic all-round eMTB. That's it, folks. As I said, if you've got any questions whatsoever, I've ridden thousands of eMTBs over the years. So hopefully I can help you make the right decision. So that's it from the Cliffs Above finale. Get yourselves out here. Fantastic place to go for a ride as well. See you next time.